backup deck is featuring a Dragonstorm card that I haven't got around to yet. We were talking about it a little bit on stream yesterday. Dragonfire Blade. Someone told me, I think it was Dak Faden, had tried a Fervent Champion Dragon Blade build. I didn't see what the build was. It might be similar to this. But I wanted to try that out. Like the idea of just like having a 1 mana 3/3 first strike, Hexproof for monocolored, where you get to just equip this for 0. I think that's pretty nice. I think it also can be nice in the Steel Cutter shell where you have this like Puresteel Paladin. Okay, I guess how should I say this? So with Cori-Steel Cutter, Steel Cutter is obviously great. Steel Cutter is very good when you have Bauble and Mox Opal. You need a card advantage engine for Steel Cutter to be good, so you can continue to put a bunch of pressure on your opponent, trigger prowess a bunch, and keep making tokens. We have a few different card advantage engines here, like Stoneforge Mystic and Kassandra. We'll get to Kassandra in a second. But Puresteel Paladin is mostly in here as a card advantage engine, where we just have so many cheap equipment to trigger and just like use as a like card draw engine more so than a hammer equipper. But we are playing a couple hammers to equip just with our Puresteel Paladin. Now, Kassandra, there's some history with this card where when I consulted on Assassin's Creed, this card, Spear of Leonidas, was a red and white 2-drop. And I gave the feedback that like it was maybe a little bit too powerful. I think it also had better modes. It's hard to remember. But like it being a 2-mana was like so nice for the mana curves if you ended up naturally drawing it. We could go Fervent Champ into Spear, equip and attack. And so they ended up nerfing it to 3 mana. And I got a little deflated from that. I thought coming into Assassin's Creed being printed, Spear of Leonidas would be 2 mana. It was printed at 3 mana, so I got a little deflated. But I finally played with the combo yesterday, and obviously we have a lot of new tools here, but it was pretty good. So Kassandra, Eagle Bearer, is a 3 mana 2/2 haste. When it enters the library, you put this card into play, Spear of Leonidas. Spear of Leonidas is a 3 mana equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose 1. Equipped creature gets double strike, which can be very good. You make a 3/2 legendary creature, or you discard 2 and draw 2 cards. So 3 pretty good modes. And even just going Fervent Champion 3 mana equip can be a pretty good curve. But when you go Cassandra, like when you just go 3 mana card, put a 3 mana card into play, and also this says whenever you deal damage with a legendary equipment, draw a card. Like if you go Fervent Champ, Kassandra, Spear, equip on the champ, you can double strike it, draw 2 cards. It's pretty good. It's surprisingly pretty good. And I'm glad I finally got around to testing it. Hope maybe it was good to wait until we got some new tools like Steel Cutter and Dragonfire Blade. But it was pretty dang strong. We also have Shadowspear as an extra legendary equipment that can trigger Kassandra, which is kind of cool. Some flex spots in the list, like second Colossus Hammer, first Blacksmith Milk. You could maybe play second skill over second hammer. But it's been pretty solid so far. Anything else? Deck's been pretty fun, pretty fast, pretty grindy. I guess I'll say that too. Kind of a weird hand. Let's keep, despite this is like a great mull to 5. I'm going to lead on the blade here, although it could actually be better to hold it just to trigger stuff. But maybe I draw a 1-drop and I like a Fervent Champ and I can go Steel Cutter Opal to cast the 1-drop. Oh, maybe I should be playing Trepidation Blade for Belcher. Dragonfire Blade. Kassandra, return. Fervent Champion. Okay, so I guess I'm going to just Bauble here. And hope not to be dead on turn 2. Okay, so let's go Mox Opal. Fervent Champion, trigger the Steel Cutter. Equip the Dragonfire Blade to the Fervent Champion. Make a Construct token. Float a red. I learned this from our previous opponent. Get in. They're down to 6 life. No, I look over and I'm getting belchered. Flare of Fortitude does... It's kind of great against Belcher, right? Of the Needle. It's kind of great where they, like, against this version specifically, where they spend all their mana and then you just flare, and then a lot of times they just don't have the mana to activate again. I might cut the Kassandra Spear package. Although I think Sword of Fire and Ice and Shadowspear may be worse. Could cut the skill, could cut a Kassandra. Let's do this. Does sack to flare. Damping also good. Yeah, I don't know how good damping is against them. Like, it doesn't like just shut them down as much as it does storm and stuff, and it can also hurt us a lot. Yeah, this deck could play Trepidation Blade as like a Balustrade Spy effect for them. That card's 3 mana. I mean, there's just a lot of Belcher. It might just be good. Probably right to damping into play. What would you cut? Because I feel like the flares and the needle, as well as like just our very aggressive draws on the play are fine. Just turn 1 and set up turn 3 lock. I just don't think it's a lock is the thing, but maybe I'm undervaluing it. So if we had Trepidation Blade, this hand could be a pretty nice keep. I think it still can be a nice keep actually, where I could just needle Belcher on turn 3. Yeah, but maybe, I guess Damping Sphere probably is really good against this build the more I'm thinking about it. But also in the play, we just again maybe just have some aggro drills, not really this one, that can toast them. But I'm leading on the Saga here so that I can prioritize Pithing Needle. Striking it rich. I boarded out my Sword of Fire and Ice. So I think I'm getting the Spear of Leonidas. Maybe Steel Cutter is better first. Let's get the Steel Cutter. Goblin. These Charbelchers. I think I just get another Steel Cutter. I think this is just the way to be the most aggressive here. No Leyline Axe of Fervent? Well, I would sure love to play Leyline Axe if I always had exactly 1 copy or a bunch of copies in my opening hand, but that card is pretty shitty to draw. I also don't think there's any card I would cut for any Leyline Axes. And like just Leylines in general are so inconsistent and clunky. You could definitely have some really sweet turns with it though. Mystic Vix, I feel better. I mean, yeah, I could be wrong. Just not a big fan. Is the hammer lethal? The hammer gives me +3 damage, so I have 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is lethal, so let's cast it. They did... Oh my gosh! No, dude! I'll just mulligan the league if... Wait, what is this? March of Reckless Joy for 7. If they kill me here, I'll just mulligan the league. Oh, I just noticed they have a Stormscale Scion. So this is 4 copies? They're at 8 life. I don't think we're dead. They're dead to this. We should have some draws that get them. So not really any reason to not sack this, although we can only find a 0. Okay, so Puresteel Paladin is got to be better because it lets me equip this hammer. So we go Paladin, Bauble. This is just one more damage on the trampler. Yeah, this should be lethal. Oh, I forgot that this is a knight. Right. That didn't come up yesterday. That's funny. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, wow. It isn't. They go to 1. But I'm not dead to the backswing. Okay, so our Miss Lethal doesn't end up mattering, which is obviously great. I do think I'm on board with these Damping Spheres. Let's cut this package of cards here. Although maybe it's better to cut the Flares. Flares do just seem so nice. Let's try them. I think it's lethal if you put the hammer on Fervent Champion because of the first strike taking away the buff. No, I don't think that works that way, right? Because like when it's not like it's double strike; it's just first strike. So like it's kind of the same as combat damage just happening normally. Yeah, I do think I was pretty wrong about the Damping Sphere. So I think let's keep this, especially in combination with Needle on Belcher. Like that's just such a lock. Okay, they're on a mold of 6. Any thoughts on Leyline Axe? You know, a lot of people have been suggesting it. I've had some like kind of not great experiences with Leyline Axe. I've had some okay experiences with it too. Okay, it's obviously a good draw. But it might be worth testing. I'm not sure what I would cut for them. Like I guess we could go like cut the skill, cut the second hammer, cut third Kassandra maybe cut the sword. Although I kind of like the sword, so it's possible. I would probably want to start off as a 4-of to play test. Yeah, I want to cut the Puresteel Paladin because Paladin's also good with Leyline Axe. I'm surprised he has no Meltdown on the sideboard. How do you know they don't have Meltdown on the sideboard? The Cori instead of Paladin was lethal, but obviously doesn't matter. Was it? I thought this was just one more damage, especially because I got to pump it. Yeah, we could maybe try a league with Leyline Axe. Okay, second Ruby can let them do some brute forcing through the Damping Sphere, although we've got so many good top decks. Including this one. So Cori-Steel Cutter draw 2. Into the Champion. This lethal? It's pretty close if it's not. Yeah, I think it's just exactly 10. Javier returns to Modern. Not the most elegantly played. But nice to be beating a deck like Belcher. Like, they giving double strike with the Dragonfire Blade. Like, Dragonfire Blade Fervent Champ seems like such a strong start. It's like 8 power haste double strike for 2 mana. And Hexproof for monocolored. Okay, so save this for the Spear. Or the Steel Cutter, rather. Yeah, I'm on board with the Trepidation Blade, too. Like, there just is enough Belcher. Well, we have to concede this matchup. I don't have it in my heart to to beat Phoenix here. Sentinel's kind of nice. You know what? I also like playing second Fervent Champion allows me to... This allows me to stop them from minusing the Tamiyo, which is pretty good. And having a... Oh, no. Oh, sorry. I thought I miscalculated. But also, I now get 3 looks at another land. I guess Mox Opal doesn't work. Another land to go Sword of Fire and Ice, and this is just so good with 2 Fervent Champs in play because it's going to be hard for them to kill both. Main deck Surgical, what? Okay, so with on the note of main deck Surgical, as a Phoenix player myself, this is a very easy thing to have happen, where you're losing with Phoenix, losing with Phoenix, losing with Phoenix. You can't win. It's just so awful. What's happening? I know. I'll play Surgical Extraction in the main, because it's kind of all you can do, is like main deck more Surgicals or main deck more Gut Shots, and just think 0 mana spells. Those are broken. It's just that simple. But the reality is that it's just you're just better off not or not playing the deck if the deck isn't well positioned, you know. Wowza, what a draw. Okay, so bring in the Lantern. Maybe just -1 hammer, +1 lantern, click submit. They might have meltdowns though, so maybe we'll play like 1 flare actually. Do you take Charmaw in against Merfolk or Goblins? Goblins, oh my gosh. I haven't seen Goblins in so long. Probably, I think neither matchup. No, I don't think we need Hole for Tamiyo. Tamiyo's just, you know, it's okay. It's also just not enough targets to have portable Hole in your deck, I think. Lol, Spike doesn't have 7 TV. Sorry, it's too normal. Kassandra seems cool. I said how easy it seems to side out. I mean, I'm mostly siding it out because it's a 3-drop. Kassandra was really good in testing. Like, I'm sad it took me so long to play it. I was just so discouraged how they nerfed Spear of Leonidas. Why no Sphere for Phoenix? I want to give them a chance. I guess I put back the Dragonfire Blade so I can... Oh, I just noticed this is Magical, who's... Magical is always in the chat going, Spike, I solved it! Surgical and Gut Shot. Love Magical. Alright, so we're going to set up for... Turn 2, Steel Cutter, Mishra's Bauble. And then we can go Mox Opal, Puresteel Paladin, Colossus Hammer, equip, get him. Nerf Spear. Yeah, I consulted on Assassin's Creed long time ago. And during consulting, like, Spear was 2 mana. I think I also can't really remember. It's been you know, years and years at this point, like 3 or 4 years. And probably 3 years. And so I can't remember, but I feel like Spear also had like one slightly better mode. And so during the before consulting ended or whatever, like I was very excited to play. Kassandra 2 mana Spear of Leonidas plus Fervent Champion. But they nerfed the Spear to be 3 mana, and so like that always took the wind out of my sails, and I just never got around to it. But now that they printed Dragonfire Blade and Steel Cutter, I finally cast it last night, and I was pretty impressed. So no creatures in the yard. You have seen Spear of Leonidas before printing a stronger form? Yes, during Assassin's Creed consulting. All right, so let's give him the hammer. Even have Flare up if they have Meltdown. Zebo, the 10 months, thank you so much. Yeah, I think we should Flare. The main way we lose is Meltdown. So I think just playing around that's the only card we lose to. Seems like a good plan. Yeah, I was really excited for this deck. I decided to start with this one, or start with the other one, just because that's what I was 3-0 with. But maybe it would have been better to start with this. Okay, so Pally, Dragonfire, Lethal. Yes, I'll draw a card. Don't we flare in response to meltdown? So they bolted my Puresteel Paladin. You can only sack non-token creatures to flare, so we couldn't flare off the monk. Okay, so it is bad to have both Spear and Kassandra in your opening hand. I think I'm going to mulligan this. What about Aether Drift? I liked Aether Drift a lot. Dragonstorm, in my opinion, is on another level, but I did like it. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm putting back the Fervent Champion, just leading on Sentinel. Throne of Eldraine. I mean, Throne of Eldraine was fun. It was also like a very bad set for Modern. That was Mystic Sanctuary, Once Upon a Time Oko, plus a bunch of other cards that were really strong. Neon Dynasty. Honestly, I think Neon Dynasty's not what I like. Neon Dynasty was cool, but Beseiju is like such a mistake. Yeah, I think Dragonstorm just ended up being great. Like even Ugin just feels way more balanced than I expected it to. Do you mean Strategic Betrayal? Maybe I do. Okay, Trepidation Blade would be an awesome this league. We'll put one in the board. Okay, so get punished for reciting or not playing the Javier. Seems more important to resolve the Steel Cutter, right? Do you only play Leyline if you can have a full 4? Not necessarily, but I do think I'm only play testing it. I'm only play testing it. I'll start off as a full 4 for the play test. Okay, so I'm gonna get either a hammer or a Dragonfire Blade. I think I just take the hammer and try to high roll a Puresteel Paladin because I gotta kill them next turn. Although it looks like that's a little short anyways. Concept Truck here was more impactful to Modern. Okay, so I guess, you know, my point wasn't that there has never been a set that's more impactful to Modern than Dragonstorm, but my point was that this has had the most positive impact. Like Concept Tarkir had looting and treasure cruise, and that kind of sucked, you know? Like it's I can't think of another standard set besides Dragonstorm where there isn't anything that's broken in the context of Modern. I thought Ugin would be, but it's not. And like Steel Cutter is like my favorite card added to Modern in so long. It's such a sweet card. And like for them to add I think like there's a lot of stuff that's even under the radar right now, like Narset, and I think that Severance Priest Birthing Ritual deck's really good. I might play that in the Content Creator event on Saturday. I might play that challenge on Saturday. Like it is just such a sweet set. It gave us the fetches though. I mean, I don't really care about that, I guess. Is Ugin really not busted or just underrepresented? Yeah, Ugin's really not busted. Like it's just you could be good against Eldrazi, like if you're playing Titan or you're playing Storm or you're playing Prowess, like you just kind of don't care that they're playing Ugins, and then Ugin's really good against stuff like Boros and Frog and Orzhov and Control, but it's only kind of good against those decks. Everyone knows no other set has ever affected Modern. Well, I'm just trying to think, like I can't think of another standard set besides Dragonstorm that has affected Modern in such a positive way. Where like that, they're just it's very impactful, but it doesn't seem like there's almost any negatives. Like you could be critical of Ugin, but I feel like it just has been actually kind of nice for the format. Even Krim with the tier 1, thank you. Welcome back. War of the Spark. Like I mean, I think War of the Spark wasn't great for Modern. It got Mike and Sith Lattice Band. Teferi was really boring, and Narset was really boring. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the Needle. Lantern to stop Tamashi is also a consideration. Flare of Fortitude to just buy 1 turn is a consideration. Damping Sphere is not very good against Blue Belcher, which is kind of why I didn't want to bring it against Red, but it is good against this one. Blacksmith's skill to protect the needle seems kind of nice. So to cut the Shadowspear. War of the Spark was the answer for higher upside. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm phrasing myself wrong, but I'm trying to find a set that had a more positive impact, and I can't think of any, and I haven't really been convinced by the comments so far. Teferi, Narset, and Karn were hugely positive for pre-Image Modern. It punished the unfair Undex in a reasonable way. I guess I just really disagree, but that's fine to disagree, of course. I'll say this is a very nuanced and subjective subject as well, of course. But yeah, I remember personally not enjoying any of those cards early. It was also like very small window. War of the Spark pre-MH1. Maybe Innistrad? Yeah, maybe Innistrad. I started playing Return to Ravnica. Okay, I'm gonna keep this on the kind of on the back of the flare. Also, Sentinel should be pretty good. So it's an interesting draw. I think I do want to go for this so I can get Needle on Belcher more aggressively here. Nuremberg with the 31 months. Welcome back. Original Cons was really good for the format, in my opinion. Then they get 11 mid-range decks who got tons of hits. I think you just have to disagree with that because of Dig Through Time and Cruise. Like I think if you have Dig Through Time, Cruise, or if you're like throwing a Veldrain with Oko, I almost feel like it just disqualifies you from being in the conversation if you have like any broken card banned from your set. But that's just my take. Obviously, this conversation has probably run its course, but a fun one. All right, let's play the Pally. It's not like you can't like these sets, but like Dragonstorm has seemingly done the impossible. It is a really impactful set that is also really, really fun. Well, this is a problem. Although we can probably make them chump next turn. Hear me out. Eldritch Moon at the time was great. A lot of playable modern cards. Delirium, Brutality, Human Skin Real deck. Eldritch Moon's a good pick, I think. What about sets that temporarily ruined modern but had overall positive effect after the bans? Yeah, it's just like, does that sound better than Dragonstorm? Because it's like Dragonstorm has a really positive effect. It has tons of new exciting cards that are good in the format, and it didn't ruin everything. Like, Dragonstorm is the gold standard, I think, for standard sets. Is playing against Steel Cutter that fun? I think so. I love Steel Cutter. I like playing with it. I like playing against it. I think this is, to me, this is like one of the most fun modern cards of all time. But it's, of course, again, this is part of the problem with this conversation is that it's very subjective, all of this. So what am I doing with this Mox Opal? I think I am casting it pre-combat here. Spike, didn't you also love the ring at first? Did I love the ring? Maybe. I don't know. See, I don't think I'm going to flare this. So I was playtesting for a Pro Tour at the time, and so the fact that like I got to play with what felt like a really busted card was kind of exciting. The ring was also like way less of a problem card pre MH3 when they printed Labyrinth and Flage. Both those cards were such a big deal for. Both those cards were just such a big deal. Maybe holding this for the Steel Cutter is better, actually. I think I love the ring, yeah. I guess I don't know exactly what the point is. Spike, have you ever had a bad take ever in your career streaming Magic the Gathering? They reveal a Flare of Denial here. I've already had Cutter fall off of a creature wearing a Sword of Fire and Ice. Not yet. Yeah, like one thing about the ring is it just definitely got way worse after MH3, and in a way that, like, you know, I don't know if people even talk about. So I think I just want to draw 2. It's a weird game. Or I guess I only get to draw 1. My point was that maybe your opinion will change about some Dragonstorm cards. Of course, I think that could go without saying, but you've said it, so. Doesn't have to. I agree that Modern is better without it. It's just that when it was legal, the context really mattered. Where, like, Ugin's Labyrinth was such an insane card to print with the ring, and, like, to a lesser extent Flage. What was the logic for saving Flare on that turn? Is it to buy 1 turn against an active Belcher? Yeah, and then we could have presented lethal, or we could just equip the Dragonfire Blade next turn, but them going trainer Flare was like made this a little bit worse. Okay, so there you got the Belcher. They're holding up a mana too. I drew a second Flare. Fun game. Okay, I think that they think this is protection from monocolored, not hexproof from monocolored. I don't want to tell them that, because then they'll be like, why didn't you concede? And then I'll be like, I had a reason, and then, like, the reason is Flare, which I don't want to tell them I have. Do you think Consign being printed help keep the ban hammer away from Eldrazi decks? Absolutely, something would be banned from Eldrazi if Consign was illegal. It's like, yes, 100%. It's crazy to, like, even be this confident about that, maybe, but I certainly feel that way. That like, without Consign, Eldrazi would just be so miserable. All right, we're gonna keep this. So if I go turn 1 Saga and they go turn 3 Harbinger, it's really bad for me. They also didn't suspend a Lotus, which I think it means I've got time to. I can Fervent Champ first, at least. Consign is what to text. Yeah, I'm not saying that, like, Eldrazi is not still somewhat problematic and all that, but I am saying that were it not for Consign, I don't think we would have a legal Eldrazi deck as is. Is it ever turn 1 Hammer? I mean, top decking Mox Opal makes it look a bit better, but we were kind of. Maybe it was okay to turn 1 Hammer. So I think I'm actually getting Dragonfire Blade so that if they go Harbinger, I can have a bit more of a proactive play next turn instead of just, like, hammer, do nothing. It does mean I don't have lethal, but I think that's okay with them not having a Lotus Bloom. I don't have lethal next turn. You can play Hammer turn 1, nothing else. Well, I mean, you have to play a land, so, like, you'd go Saga, Hammer, and the reason to do that would be get Needle on turn 3. They reveal a Consign to Memory, which they are going to play untapped here. Okay, so I'm going to go Pally. Sorry, Owlboy is cooking in my ears. I need to see what song this is. I've been listening to a lot of Owlboy, Aloboi. Somehow I haven't heard this song, New World, and he's just cooking in my ears. I have to appreciate that for a moment. A land out. Well, I think which land we play matters a lot, is what I was trying to get at. They reveal a Goblin Charbelcher, and they don't have another land, so obviously we're feeling pretty good here. Now, I think I'm just getting a hammer. We've got the Flare in our hand. They're so far away from killing me. I get to draw so many cards. If they counter this hammer, it's pretty bad. Maybe I should have Stoneforge Mystic the hammer into play. I kind of like it if they flare. Why didn't we attack? Oh, never want to. Oh, sorry. I guess we could have got 1 damage in. Sorry. So this is going to get +1 power from the Fervent Champ. I could equip the Dragonfire Blade to try to bait a concession if they think this is protection from monocolored, which it seemed like they did last game, but I'm not going to angle shoot for that. And it seems like they've realized. All right, so them going to 2 means they can't bolt in a land. Udak with the 49 months. Hope you're doing well. Maybe we should have moved the Dragonfire Blade over to the Paladin, although it's unlikely to matter that much. You said Goblin Chain Whirler, yep, and I thought for sure that that's what I had named with the needle. Would something like Esper Stormblade reduce the Dragonfire's equip cost by 3? Yeah, something that has 3 colors reduce the cost by 3. Even with the hybrid symbol, it would work that way. If you have Leyline and Scion, then all your things are 5 colors, which also works. Yeah, getting to play Paladin as your card advantage into a Steel Cutter is so cool. All right, let's get a trophy prediction going. Second time being 3-0 today, but only one deck's look good on stream, funny enough. Hammer hand here. They are playing Prowess, which they were playing 9 days ago. Sentinel's pretty good against Prowess. Kind of weird. I'm going to grab the Shadowspear, I think. Hopefully draw a land. Nice. It is kind of a bummer to have 1 less artifact for the Paladin Metalcraft, though. They graveyard a Slickshot Show-Off. That's kind of interesting. They get in for 2. If we draw a Mox Opal, I guess we're still not going to quite have Metalcraft. That's okay. They know about the Shadowspear and not the Dragonfire Blade, so I think that's the one I should cast. So there's Metalcraft. I really want to keep this in play so that I can like move the spear and the blade over there if they have a bolt for the Paladin or another lava dart. Got a Steel Cutter. Not equipping XD. We don't have Metalcraft to equip. XD Roar. Looks like they don't have another land, which is great. This is 8 damage, which is a lot. Down to 7. Great draw. Well, I guess I just go Stoneforge Hammer. Jim in the gym, great username. Thank you for the gifted sub. So we get to gain 15, hit them for... I guess we can hit them for 16. What's the difference? I guess this stops them from cracking a fetch. They already can't use mutagenic growth. But yeah, this should be fine, because like, if we get to block a ground creature with this Stoneforge Mystic, then like they're not going to be able to win through all that life gain, so we might as well make it so that they can't crack a fetch, because it's not like this blocking seems to matter at all. Carry your handy dandy portable holes. Now, as much as I have like the spear package, the plan is to cut it in this matchup. Just got to lower your curve. It's kind of sad, but I promise I like Kassandra yesterday. I just haven't drawn it really. Does Dragonfire Blade prevent Cutter equip? It's hexproof for monocolored, not protection for monocolored, so it shouldn't. I think the Saga Shadowspear is good enough with this hand to keep. We also have a lot of really, really good top decks. Sentinel, Fervent Champion, Steel Cutter, Portable Hole. Like every card is a good top deck, basically. We are on the draw. We have a Mox Opal. I don't know. Let's try. Okay, this was on the pre-approved list of good top decks. I thought it was protection. Yeah, I think our opponent last round maybe thought it was protection for one of the turns. Okay, they plot a slick shot show off here. Gonna save the opal in our hand for a steel cutter, I guess. Might die. Have game 3 on the play. Swifty. Show off. Maybe I should be bluffing Dispatch. I like the prowess is... Oh, I thought this was a... Sorry, I thought for sure this was going to be Manamorphose. This is 6 damage on the 12. They got 2 cards. The Shadowspear might still save us. Play this out so a dart doesn't kill the Saga token. By itself, at least. We've been token for 3 years now, so if you'd like any recommendations, I would love to give them to you, or even showing around Shinjuku be blast. I actually have like a dozen friends who have been to Japan, so I've got plenty of recommendations. But thank you, that's very nice of you. I like so many. All right, pretty cooked. I think I might bring in some flares to try to play around meltdowns. Yeah, I don't have any copies of Dispatch of the 75, so it would just be a bluff here. And I gotta go to game 3. Now, how are we making room for these? I think we can cut the skill. Can probably cut Stoneforge number 4. Maybe cut the drum? Can keep this. Yeah, just saving the bauble for Metalcraft next turn. Yeah, I'm gonna play an actual artifact also. they go Meltdown, next equals 1. It's just a 2 for 2 because we get to draw a card and we only lose the Opal because we can sack this. But if they wait a turn and go Meltdown next 2, it's pretty tough. So maybe we should play a Stoneforge next turn to try to play around it. Unless we draw Flare. This pause kind of makes me think they have the Meltdown. It's either that or they have like Show Off. Maybe they just have a 1-mana removal spell for the Sentinel. So if they have a 1-mana removal spell for the Sentinel, I don't draw a land. It's pretty bad. But I think I should just crack this. Rough Tumble is a good card to see. Flare is a good card to draw. So I think I should play the Stoneforge Mystic. So if they go like kill my Sentinel, untap Meltdown, I have a second creature to sack to Flare. And then grab the Shadowspear. Could grab the sword. Look up the sword. I don't know. It's a weird game where they're not doing anything, so I feel like it's a good time to grab the sword. They do have the dart. That's rough. Somehow it feels like they're playing around the flare, which is like, I don't know, so tough. Maybe I got too much Meltdown on the brain. This is also such a weird game where I just can't portable hole anything. So I can't trigger my Dragonfire Blade. I mean, I guess I could just cast the portable hole. No, they have it. Damn. Gonna be very difficult to beat this. Although we do have double portable hole, they haven't drawn a creature, so we'll see what happens. It's very sad that like they just killed both of my creatures before I could, and I couldn't flare. And now they play 2 threats. Okay, if I draw a land, we're kind of still in this. Don't know what to do. Put into Rough Tumble. I mean, Rough Tumble just the Stoneforge is like not something to really expect. We get a fish. They could have Rough Tumble Meltdown in hand from the beginning. Didn't want to commit and lose to some cards that own their sweepers. I mean, I'll say this. It's yeah, that seems like that could have happened. It's just I think it's just not very lucky to run into a gamer who has it in their range to play around flare is all I'm trying to say. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Very slow hand on the draw. I think on the draw I'm going to mulligan. Again, it's super borderline, although I do like this hand more. Underground Mortuary. Okay, I was definitely hoping to draw Kassandra with the Fervent Champion in this hand. So pretty excited for that. Going to lead on the Sentinel, though. Maybe they'll give me a card with a Rumble. No. My Kassandra. Okay, I'll copy that DNA. Thank you. We have not booked our hotels and stuff yet. Maybe they'll take the Fervent Champ? Okay, so my opponent is playing Shizo Death Storehouse. So they have Shieldreds in their deck, I guess. Yeah, they might be trying to figure out what Leonidas does, huh? And they took the Kassandra. And then they Soul Spiked the Sentinel. They pitched a Necro and a Dothy Voidwalker, so they almost definitely have another Necro in their hand. Do they have a third untapped land? They do. Interesting. That could be a good draw. Especially if they brick on the Soul Spike. They go down to 11 life, drawing 7 cards. Do they find a second copy of Soul Spike? Dragonfire Blade's kind of the best top deck. Kassandra's... I guess Kassandra's better. They did find the second Soul Spike, which is, of course, oftentimes all it comes down to in these kind of games. So going to be a tough one. I missed Necro. Thankfully that card's still legal. You can play it. I think the Necro Frog deck we played was pretty good. I'll scoop to a Shieldred here. Sorin I don't need to scoop to. By the way, Cassandra's misspelled in the title. Is 2 S's or... Oh, there's no N? Hexproof of Monocolor is a pretty good line of text in this matchup, at least. But we didn't draw a Dragonfire Blade. That card's got to be great against them. A little bit worried about culling rituals out of the board. Probably will bring in the flares. Fonzie and I finally picked a date for a wedding after being engaged for 4 years. Awesome. That's congrats. And 3 kids. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy the planning process. It's not very fun. March. Been working on Jessica Cori-Steel Cutter. I'm trying it for DRC. I would appreciate your opinion feedback on the list. Well, I guess I got a second. I'll say that like the flex spots of DRC, Lightning Bolt versus Portable Hole, Preordained versus Expressive Iteration, Preordained versus Repeal, like it's just all of these are fine, and the answer is going to be that you have to spend some time testing. Okay, I'm gonna go to game. I'm gonna go to game 2 here. You just have to spend some time testing. Like I will say that like Narset should be like a 3 of. Like Narset is, I think, incredibly good in the deck, and you're doing yourself a disservice by only playing 1. I think it's, for me it's just a 3 of. I would play it over any of the DRCs. Even like the preordains, I don't know. So like I probably wouldn't end up on DRC. But I'm a big DRC fan in general. Okay, so let's bring in the flares. I'm gonna cut the Shadowspear. Let's keep in the skill, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need it. I think it's easier for them to break up the Colossus Hammer stuff too. Yeah, I think with us having the Dragonfire Blade's skill is going to be worse. I'm going to go and cut it. Repeal is a card I really need to be testing. Okay, seems like they're thinking about upkeep Fatal Push here. Kassandra! I'm going to lead on the Paladin, I guess. Okay, we'll recess after our draw here. Yeah, I think we're just not going to be double spelling next turn, so we'll play the Paladin. I do think they have a Thoughtseize in their hand. So if they have like Thoughtseize Fatal Push into Necro, it's, pretty good. Although I loved Good Day to Be Wrong. Sorry, I probably should have played the Sacred Foundry. Is there a world where you want the Aether Spark? I have never put the Aether Spark into play. I have Trophy to League with it, but I didn't put it into play once that League. So I haven't tested the card. I don't think it's very good, though. So maybe they're going to Soul Spike my Paladin to deny the card draw, which would be okay. I thought they might have Googled a Spear of Leonidas last league. Maybe not. So they do Soul Spike. They pitch a Meathook Massacre and a Shieldred. So we tutor up a Spear of Leonidas, put that into play, and get in for 2. They take this down to 1 loyalty. Let's see if they have land Necro. They have a land. Land Graveyard Trespasser. Doesn't hit quite the same, does it? Although it looks like I'm not going to be able to super effectively get through with the Spear right now. But that'll be okay once I get Dragonfire Blade off the Stoneforge Mystic. So we'll go Steel Cutter into Stoneforge Mystic for Dragonfire Blade, which costs 2 mana to equip to Kassandra. So next turn I can go equip Dragonfire Blade and equip the Spear of Leonidas and draw 2 cards off of the trigger after I give Double Strike. Have Flare of Fortitude up. Looking to do my first RCQ this year, I have Black-White Flicker without Ketrabos or Mill. What should I suggest? Assuming you're talking about like Vile Recruiter. I'm not a big fan of that build. It's fine though. They're both about the same power level, I think, so I would probably play the Black-White deck over Mill, but Mill can be good if you are doing a lot of mental math. Alright, so they draw 4 cards. They've got 6 total. They've already used 1 Soul Spike. Looks like they didn't find it this time, although they may have. And they're waiting for me to spend my mana. Interesting draw. It's kind of fun that if they do have Soul Spike, the Flare that I'm going to cast is going to trigger the Cori-Steel Cutter. Okay, so on the Spear of Leonidas, I'm going to choose Double Strike. So if they don't chump block it, I get to draw 2 cards, and if they chump block it, that's obviously fine. They do go for the chump. So if they go land Shieldred, it's not ideal. They have already pitched 1 Shieldred for whatever that's worth. There's a land. I guess I'm just hoping for Damnation. They suspend a Profane Tutor. Good news. I don't know what they're going to do against this Kassandra here. They draw 3 going down to 6 life. They concede. Okay. I think this is the first time we cast Kassandra today, right? Okay, having Dragonfire Blade in our opener seems great. This is weirdly, I think, our best card of the matchup. We don't have Metalcraft. If we don't draw like an artifact or a red source on turn 1, I'll just play the Saga though. And it seems fine. My opponent has also kept 7. And they don't have a Thoughtseize, which I'm really happy about. A lot of good chop decks here, including this one. This is a great draw. So it looks like I want to try to go turn 2 Kassandra. This might have been the best draw, actually. All right, so we've got a Hexproof Fervent Champion. I guess they might Soul Spike this. They decided not to Soul Spike. Force of Despair, turn 1 Javier. Javier, are you watching? Look what you've become. You become Force of Despairable. Isn't that awesome? Ooh, dude, Flare is such a great draw. Could have been maybe better to play Paladin and get the Blade equipped. There's also some weirdness with this Bauble and Bowmaster. Yeah, I think we just play around Bowmaster here. I wasn't paying attention before. It puts it into play. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yes. That's why it's good. I know this is a card we haven't played on stream before, and I told a little bit of the story why that's the case. Okay, so they march the Kassandra. They pitched a Profane Tutor. And they just have a Fatal Push. Okay. So the Profane Tutor is going to come off suspend. Now they need to have... They're going to have 3 cards after they Profane Tutor and they draw. They need to have land Necro to Necro, which... does that go without saying? Maybe it does. This is obviously an insane draw. Have I made the horse yet? So far we just have double striked. Thanks for the Owlboy recommendation. Yeah, Owlboy is so good. I'm just a huge fan. Just the non-stop bangers. Okay, 5 cards in hand over there. Okay. Did I board out the drum? I guess... Hold on, sorry. The thing is, I really want to be able to protect my Fervent Champion here from a Soul Spike. Which means that for me to do that, I would need to Puresteel Paladin first. Which is admittedly a little weird. But I think it makes sense. Also having Flare for like a culling ritual potentially could be good. They do seem to be F6, so I don't know. So I can hit them for 6. I can make a horse. I think I'm just gonna make the horse. I don't want to discard my hand. Or I guess I could discard one of the flares. No, it's still damage. Some wear tears to the board seem good. Yeah, you could play wear tear. I don't know. It's what would you cut? So like if we had gotten the another Dragonfire Blade, we'd hit them down to 3 life here. I know it says up to 2, so we could have just discarded 1. Oh, it does. Wait, it does say discard 2? Oh shit. So that means if you're Hellbent, you get to draw 2. Okay, we should have been Kassandra spearing for longer. Okay, they draw 0 cards here. I mean, I'm gonna put them to 1. Putting them to 1 is so hard to beat. Okay, I guess this is about into exactly Inquisition, the main phase. Although I guess they're not drawing it because the Necro. So that's fine. Esper with the 7 months, thank you, welcome back. So they cling to dust to gain 3 life. They play Castle Locktwain. And I don't know what I guess they have to draw Bowmaster or an Edict, right? Kind of a narrow range. Okay, so we 4-1'd our first league. I think pretty exciting. Got 1 hole, 1 Charmer for wear tears. You could do that. I feel like I really want 4 portable hole against Prowess though. I don't know if you're just really scared of bridge. I do want to try Leyline Axes. But I think that was a really promising start here.